Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and today I'm working on the 100-day project. I'm very naughty, I'm really behind. Easter has thrown me completely. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've not been here forever. Family things going on over the bank holiday weekend. But before we go any further, let's say a big warm welcome to Susan, Cindy, Connie, my epic, JDS, Sheila and Carol. Hello, it's great to have you aboard. Welcome, welcome. So, teabag art. Now, I'm actually, including today, needing to do 6. Look at this. 6 of them. So, quite a little crafting session here. I've got a huge array of things to play with. I've got some die cut letters. I've got some die cut butterflies. I've got a couple of bits of fabric. This is a fabric ruffle that I was gifted. I've got some doily. You see I've had a couple of pieces out of that already. That centre is gorgeous. A couple of bits of this lace, green lace, all sorts of bits and pieces, more die cuts. And these are actually some die cut hearts that I used napkin and that glass, I can't think what it's called now, but anyway, and punched holes, so they could be buttons. I did use them in a journal that I made a little while ago, but anyway. And there's an odd button there, look, and a cameo, all sorts of bits and pieces. And I've got this little nostalgia book. They're probably too big, so might not be using that. But then also I've got my little book of words and things there. So let's have a go and see where we end up. Now, one of the things I thought it might be nice to do is like one of those Victorian portrait strings. I don't know if you know what I mean. They have like long, very lavish ribbon and velvet and things. And then they would have a series of photographs hanging down it, and it would hang on the wall. So I'm thinking maybe we could do that, and that would fit into a journal nice. We could tuck that over for a tab. So I think maybe that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to need to make sure that these 3 work well together. So what do we want to do? Well, I think I'm going to start with some lace, and I think I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to get my fabby new little scissors out, and I'm going to trim out this pineapple. This is the pineapple pattern in crochet. So I'm going to snip this out like so. And then of course we've got that lovely piece as well to use. Excuse me, I'm very, very croaky today. I don't know if it's because I've not spoke much over the last few days, with it being sort of family holidays, or whether I've been speaking too much. So I'm thinking we could maybe have this on there, and then we could put something on top of it, maybe, you know, like the butterfly, something like that. And then on, say, this one, we could put the button in the middle. Now that means we need something else. So I'm wondering if maybe some of that might work nicely, sort of down the middle, and then the button on it like that, maybe. Not loving that like I do that one. So let's have another look. Maybe some grey lace on this one. Got a bit of, that's better, isn't it? Got a bit of a lace theme going on here. So then on this one, need to make sure we've got a little bit of gap between them. On this one, What other lace have I got? Oh, we've got this one, haven't we? So, what if we trim this one up here, like that, make like a rectangle on our circle, although I feel like I need that at the top because these two are whitey creamy colours and that's a very distinct different colour. So then maybe on here we could have some of this gold leaf. That actually could be quite nice on there, couldn't it? Look, like that. Fairly simple, but also effective. Now, I just need to poke out, there's pieces in here that you can obviously see from the other side are needing to be assisted on their departure. So how is everybody? What have you been up to? Have you had a great bank holiday, or were you one of these people that sadly had to work if you're in one of those types of industries? And what have you done if you weren't working? What have you done with your bank holiday? Did you catch up on R&R? Have nice sort of lazy days at home? Are you somebody that doesn't celebrate Easter and just enjoyed the actual time off? Right, so obviously we've got bits everywhere, but we can shake them down. So that goes out. But I do feel that that pink is quite pale, and so is that lace. So I feel like we need something else under there. So if I go to a bit of vintage book page that's just sitting on my desk and pull off a piece of this, maybe that would work nicely under there. Let's have a little look and see. So could break it up like so. I still don't feel like that's singing to me, to be honest. I feel like it's too pale. Do we need the butterfly on the grey? Yes, you see what a difference that makes. So we'll put the book page slightly smaller underneath, I think, like that, and we'll pop our butterfly on the top. That one I'm really happy with, so I'm going to start gluing that together. Everything's collapsing as always. Right, so bringing in something that I can glue on, and we'll glue up this piece like so. This one, whoops, I'm going to pop like that, and then this one, obviously we're going to leave residue glue through all those holes. We'll try and pick that up in a minute, and we're going to pop that one down there like that. So that's our first one. Now I do love this one, so I'm just going to go straight in with this one. Whoops, I've got gluey fingers now and things are sticking to me. I'm going to pop this like that, and then we'll carefully, because this is a little bit flimsy, it's been floating around on my desk, so the bendy parts have bended, and we're going to go like that with that one. Make sure that's nicely stuck down, and pop that on there like so. Glue on my fingers, you see. So that's those two. And then I think this red will now, yeah, that will sit beautifully on there. But I feel that needs to come up a little bit further. So we're going to put some glue up there. Add this one there, like so. And then we're going to put some glue on here. Now, as you can see, I have only used stick glue on these, and that's obviously going to be nowhere near strong enough to hold them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stitch through those into the actual back fabric. So I'm just going to grab a needle out of my little needle case. I'll take this one here, and I think I want excuse me, I think I want this white for that one. So all I'm going to do is just pull out a length of thread, put a very simple couple of stitches in there just to hold it in place. Get myself a nice knot on the back. That way we know it's going to be secure, but we also know that the edges will be able to move, which I think is quite nice. So I'm going to bring it up to about there. I want to make sure that the heart is straight. There we go. Punched a hole so we know where we're going. Well, we do in theory. Oh my goodness. There we go. So our knot's caught. And I'm just going to sew it like I would any normal button now. So we get a couple of stitches going up and down. See, it's because I've got glue on my finger. I've unthreaded my needle now. Oh, for goodness sake. You can tell it's the first day back, can't you? Well, it's first day back for me. I know officially the first day back was yesterday, but I had my grandson yesterday because Mum has to work. And he's on half term from school. So gave him a little bit of something different to do, didn't it, being with Nana? So, and then just poke my needle through, wrap it round and close that one off. That's that one. Okay, so that's firmly attached now. Now I want to do a little fold over there. So just to make sure that stays folded over like so. Okay, and this is the one going at the top here, isn't it? So that's going to now go in there like that. So I'll come through. You see I've got it through the hole in the lace to try and make it a little bit more. Oh, I've come through from the wrong side, haven't I? Oh dear, it's all going wrong. Right, so I'm going to undo that, pull that out of there. I bet you was all saying, no, don't do it like that. You're on the wrong side. Right, so we'll try this again. So we'll fold this over, we'll put a little stitch through there, and then we're going to offer that through there. So we are at the front, Claire, so through there and then through that hole there. Whoops. Like so. And then I'm going to come down here and do a little stitch there on the stalk or the stem, and then I'm going to come down again through that lacy hole and again over the stalk or stem, it's basically invisible or tacking stitch because I'm doing big spaces on the back and then just little sort of spaces on the front, so you can't overly see it. There we go. But it's there doing its job. There you go. So that's held that one on as well. And then maybe we'll go over this side and, whoops, join that in there as well, just so we've got some stitches on the other side. Just one there, and then maybe one there, like so. You can see we've got big stitches at the back. And of course, if you wanted to use this in something like a journal, this would make perfect belly band. So trim that off. You can easily put it on its own or strengthen it with a strip of paper or card, and that would make a perfect little belly band. Okay, so our last one on this one. It's quite a quick little process, really. So this one is now going to go in the middle. We can just see a little bit of the fabric between each one, so that's perfect. And I'm just going to spin it round a little bit, and I'm going to come up through the middle onto that grey. And obviously you'll see it more here because it's a white thread and grey and pink, but it will still not be too visible. And obviously if you're not a person that likes to add stitching to your work, then you could just make sure that you used a really good strong glue. Instead of using a glue stick, you might use something like a Fabri-Tac or a tacky glue, something like that, just whatever suits. I like to add stitching to my work, as you probably appreciate by now. I just think it's another dimension. I can't get my needle through that piece of embroidery on that lace, so I'm just going to have to stab somewhere else. Okay. Yeah, no, it's really not wanting to go through there. There we go. Go through that piece there. Okay. Whoops, pulled my needle off again. As you can see, I'm not very proficient sewer. I just like to add the odd few stitches. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off here and wrap this around, and then that is that one done. So now if we look at this, let's assume that this is a page in our journal. We can just adhere this top and bottom with whatever, glue or stitches, and you have got, this is quite thin paper, you need something a bit firmer really. And you can put a journal card or whatever through there, and that becomes a very nice looking belly band. But more importantly, there's 3 of our 6 tea bag art for the 100-day project done. Okay, so that's that one. Now, do I want to do another one of those using the grey fabric, or do I want to do something a bit different? Well, we've got our 3 tea bags. I do like the idea of it being a belly band strip or something. And I think what we'll do here is I might use these to make them a bit firmer. Could have 2 circles and a heart. Or we could have 2 hearts. They're just die cuts. And we've got lace on all of those, so I'd really rather try and not use lace on these ones. We could make these ones about numbers, couldn't we? Because there's a die cut remnant with a number on, number 3, and we could maybe use a number 5. Let's move these up to make sure you can see them. Could maybe use a number 5 on that one, and then obviously something else on this one, because we haven't got the heart. Now, what about these? We haven't looked at these yet. I mean, that's very different to these butterflies. They're quite big though, aren't they? Mind you, we've got white heart, and that's a single printed, you know, cardstock. So could maybe do that. Let's just have another little, because the big one is way too big, so we definitely don't want to be using that. We've got to be using the small one. Do we want it to be more sort of mothy and use the brown, or do we? No, do you know what I think? I like the run of white. So these ones were all lace, these ones have all got some white in them. Just put these away. Right, we don't want to use lace. Now we have got the letters, haven't we? So what letters have we got here? We got an A. Could have A3 maybe. It's a bit too pale now, isn't it? I just wondered if we could go A, B, C, but I don't think I've got a B here. So we could go A, C, and then it would be E, wouldn't it, if we've missed. There's the E. And the E is huge. Or how about Alpha and Omega? So A and Z. We got a Z? Yeah. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And then what is the middle? Well, if there's 26 letters in the alphabet, there isn't really a middle, is there? So, do we just choose a random one? Look at that, really huge M. A-M-Z. Yeah, I can make that work. Okay, so I think we'll go for a little bit of vintage on this one. So I'll find my brown, she says, oh, it's on the table. No wonder I can't feel it in the drawer. Look, it's here. So we'll go for some vintage photo around the edge. So bring in my book. I'm going to start on the A. So let's get a little bit of ink around this heart. So although it's white, it is, you know, darkening up a little bit. So there's our A, our heart. Now our A, oddly, stands out a little bit better, does it not? Let's try and put a bit of ink around that as well. Why not? Oh, now because this has got ridge lines in it, this is showing up beautifully. Now, look at that. That's better. Let's try and get a little bit up that centre. Love that. Love that. We'll use a bit of dictionary page if I can find some. Here's some. So have a little bit of dictionary page maybe at the back, then the heart, then the A. Do we want the 3 as well, or is the 3 a bit overkill? I think the 3 might be a bit overkill, you know. I think we need something smaller. Anyway, before we go sticking, we'll leave that there. Then we'll find our pokey tool and get rid of these excess pieces from the die so that we've got our proper image. Do love a die cut. What's your favourite part of your kit? You know, is it stamps? Is it washi tapes? For me, it's die cuts. I think they're so universal. I have washi tape. I don't use it very often. Bit naughty on that front because I've got quite a few and it's technically dead money. But I do love a die and an embossing folder because I just think they're so universal, because obviously you can colour up your dies, you can cut them out of whatever paper or sometimes fabric depending on which dies you've got, to go with the theme of what you're doing. I just love them. I suppose second for me is stamps. I forgot, didn't I, that I was using this upside down and I put a rip there. Never mind. So there's our big butterfly. I'm going to colour this letter again. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to leave this one single. What do you think? Are you shouting at the screen telling me what I should be doing? I think that piece of text needs to be on top. So like that. Yeah. And maybe even... oh, is that 2 pages? There's 2 pages there. Look at that. I didn't even realise. That's because it's a vintage dictionary and the pages are thin, which means there must be 2 under that one as well. Yeah, there you go. So we've got that one, and I was just wondering if we ought to go the opposite way underneath. So we've got one underneath and one to the top. Quite like that. Pop that on there. Yep, like that. So now we're on the last one here. Now interestingly, I don't think the 5 is going to be too much on this one. I think I'm going to want to keep the 5, whereas I didn't want the negative of the 3. which is quite interesting, isn't it? So I'm going to put my heart on. Might even hang it off a little bit. Got to get my Z on, haven't I? And I'm realising now that all three have got dictionary and all three have got a letter. I don't feel completely happy about that. So I might take the dictionary off of there and find something else to go in there. And my number 5 I do like. And I think I'm going to make it like 5Z, almost like when you were at school in class. I don't know about you, but we were always in a class. Now I'm just noticing that on the corner of my desk here, I've got some fabric printed photographs. I'm wondering, can we get that on there underneath that moth? Let's have a little look see. So if I trim that, is that going to fit on our tea bag, or is it too big? I think it might be all right. I did show how to do this in a recent video. It's quite simple to do. Oh yeah, look, so now we can see her face. And if we put the M on there like that, we can still see the wings. And it's almost like the M relates to her name. Love that. Going to stick with that one. We've finished with this. So now I need to work out what I'm going to put on this one. Didn't want to use lace, but what about our fabric ruffle? We haven't used this, have we? So we could maybe put that down there and put our Z on top of there. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Right, so let's move that for a minute. Let's have a slurp of coffee. Okay, so bringing A up. Oh, do we want... No, I'm not going to put inking around the edge of that. I don't think I want to. So, I'm going to pop that down like so. We've then got our heart. Whoops. Like so. And then our A, which I think I'm going to put to that side there, like that. So we'll glue up this. Letter. So there's that one, done and dusted. And then this one, put glue up the centre. We're going to put her actually a little bit higher, put her up there like so. There's our Matilda, shall we call her? Going to set the butterfly down and over, I think. So we only want to glue that bit. So that's going to sit there like that. Is that a bit too far over? Should we go there? That's better. Like so. And then we'll do our M. Whoops. I'm wondering whether or not to stitch these ones. We'll see. So there's our Matilda, as we've called her. Now this Z, what am I doing with this Z? So the question is about this, isn't it? Well, it would make sense to put it on the torn edge there. Yeah, I think I like it. So we'll do a little line there. And although it's a ruffle, it's quite a flat ruffle. So that's nice. So where's my pinking shears? Here. Because you don't want it unravelling. So I'm just going to take that one off there. And then that one off there. So there's our bit of ruffle. And then our heart, not our number, our heart's going to sit there, I believe. See, this is why I'm always covered in glue, isn't it? Nightmare. Roll that back in and pick that up best we can. Let's tear that page off. There we go. Give ourselves a bit of a fair chance, eh? Now, 5Z, so the 5 needs to go up the top. See, look, covered in glue instantly. The 5 can go up there. And then the Z is going to go at the bottom. And then I just need to decide whether I want to keep these single or whether I want to do another one of these belly band type things. Obviously all that purple will disappear. I do love that. That's quite bright and colourful, that one. Right, let's see. The other bit of fabric that I've got is grey. So do we think it looks like on there? Do we want to do another one or not? Do we want to leave them singular? Do you know what? I think I am going to do it again. But I think this time, instead of stitching them, because here's another idea, I am going to use some brads. She says, do I know what I did with that little box of brads that I had? I believe that it's down here. Let's have a little look in this box. Yeah, here they are. Little copper brads. So then if I find my pink hole punch, I say pink because this is the tiny one, and I think we're going to go for this one. We're going to go there. So we've got a hole. Should have tipped these out first, really, shouldn't I? There we go. So these, I believe, came from the range. Poke it through and open it up if you've got good enough eyesight to see where it is. Right, so that has held that one on there. And we'll do the bottom again to make sure we're okay. And I think this time, just for something different, I'm going to go through the heart. So there we go. Poke that one through. Open it up. There you go, look. And then we just need to position this one with this giant moth, which I think is going to go there. Where do I want to put my hole? There. We come right down there, look. Why? Because we can. Simple as that. Poke that through. So there we have two, I'm going to call them Victorian hangers, two Victorian hangers that could be used as belly bands in our journals from our tea bag art. Make sure they're properly on screen so you can have a good final look without me fiddling at them. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Hope you found some joy and inspiration. Stay safe. I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.